Second major league start comes against the team that scores more runs than any other in the National League, and in the ballpark that is the most hitter-friendly ballpark in the major leagues. Facing off with Tyler Anderson, who leads the Rockies onto the field before game 2 of this 3-game series. And Dave Roberts ready to send out this starting lineup, brought to you by Honda. With the left-hander on the mound, that means Howie Kendrick bats out of the leadoff spot for Dave Roberts. Then it's Seager and Turner. Scott Van Slyke in the cleanup spot for only the 4th time this season, with Gonzalez hitting 5th. Kike Hernandez making his first start of the series. Jock Peterson, A.J. Ellis doing the catching, and Brock Stewart batting 9th. Anderson is 26 years old. He's from Las Vegas. This will be his 10th major league start, and this is unique, this matchup between Stewart and Anderson, because they both began the season in A-ball. For Anderson, 1 start in high A, 2 starts in Double-A, 3 starts in Triple-A, and then was called up in early June.
I mean, that's impressive. And the other thing that's impressive, if you just look at his numbers here at Coors Field, this will be his 7th start here at Coors Field. But he has a 3-1 record with a 3.47 ERA, which we all know an ERA under 4 is pretty impressive here at Coors Field. But the other thing that's impressive is over those starts, he's only allowed 2 home runs here. But this is the first time he's facing the Dodgers. We know the Dodgers struggles versus left-handers. Hopefully they turn that around today.
And as a 26-year-old rookie, you wonder what took him so long to get here. Well, he was out all last year with a left elbow fracture, has been hurt in all the other 3 years prior to that. So the young man has a very good feel for pitching, but he hasn't been on the mound very much. Closed captioning tonight is brought to you by First 5 California. Talk, read, sing, it changes everything.
Dodgers come in at 59 and 47, 2 games behind the Giants, who, by the way, have opened up an early 4-0 lead on Philadelphia. While the Rockies sit at 500, have a chance to get above 500 for the first time since mid-May. Kendrick to lead it off, and Tyler Anderson, with that hitch in his windup, delivers a fastball downstairs, and away we go. For Kendrick, out of the leadoff spot for the 10th time this season, and he's put up really good numbers as a leadoff man. And a drive to center, sending Blackmon back, and it dives into his glove for out number 1.
Well, we're going to have a look at the Rockies defense, which is brought to you by Clamato, and we're going to focus on that man right there, Nolan Arenado, the Gold Glove third baseman. We always talk about his glove flashing the leather. He always seems to make an impact. Every series you see him, he's going to make his presence felt. We already saw a couple of nice plays in yesterday's game. Hopefully they keep it away from him today.
Yeah, 3-time Gold Glover, all 3 of his major league seasons. Corey Seager looking at ball 1. This can't be easy. You're facing a guy for the first time in Anderson, but with an unconventional delivery, with a hesitation halfway through it, to time him. Seager loses the bat, 1-1.
Well, his timing was off right there, obviously. But the other thing, not only with the hesitation that he brings, but he has a fastball changeup mix. Those are his 2 dominant pitches. He also mixes in a cutter as well. But that changeup has some good movement, and it comes out of the same slot as his fastball. His whole windup is all the same, even between his fastball and his changeup. So that also adds to his deception and keeps hitters off balance.
This is 1-1, and Seager rifles a base hit into right. Well, Corey Seager has his first hit of the series after he struck out in all 3 at-bats last night.
A little bit of a herky-jerky motion. Drives on the back leg at the tail end as he gets the weight going down the hill, and Corey does a good job staying on that low fastball away.
So 1 out base runner for Justin Turner. 2 more hits last night, 2 more RBIs. Those 62 runs batted in, a career high. 38 runs batted in his last 37 games to lead the majors. Breaking ball, strike 1. Turner heating up in mid-June, has corresponded with the Dodgers. Solid run. We talk about the left-handed or the issues against left-handers. This is one of the surprising ones. High fly ball to right. Gonzalez goes back on it at the wall, and it's gone. Opposite field homer for Justin Turner, and it's 2-0 Dodgers in the first inning.
We were giving the numbers before the game. We were talking about this Dodger offense versus left-handers. We just showed the numbers for even Justin Turner, the splits between right-handers and left-handers. The guys are aware of those splits. They understand the struggles they have against them, so they're making adjustments. Justin Turner making adjustments his last few games against left-handers. It's been paying off. Nice home run right there. We even talked about Tyler Anderson. Hasn't given up many home runs here. Dodgers are trying to change it. Important to get on the board early.
Van Slyke puts it in play to first. Reynolds takes it to the bag to get him. And Justin Turner with his 19th home run, his 13th since mid-June, which also leads the National League.
And to do it off of Tyler Anderson, a lefty with the herky-jerky motion, sometimes it takes a while to get the timing off Anderson because of his delivery being so unique. Justin with the high leg kick and his timing mechanism got the combo right.
And now Gonzalez, who has hit more home runs in this ballpark as a visiting player than anybody in baseball. Actually tied with Matt Kemp, 19 home runs here at Coors Field, including one in the first series between the teams here this season back in April. Hard hit off of Anderson, and it ricochets to Arenado, who throws Gonzalez out 1-5-3 to finish the inning. But the Dodgers get a 2-run shot from Justin Turner and give Brock Stewart a lead before he even takes the ball. Series on Justin Turner's home run, and here comes his starting lineup, brought to you by Honda. Charlie Blackmon, he's having the best season of his career. He's leading it off. Then LeMahieu, Gonzalez, and Arenado in the 3 and 4 spots have combined for 47 home runs this season. The rookie Dahl off to a good start. Then Reynolds, Descalso, and Hundley. Against the 24-year-old Brock Stewart out of Normal, Illinois. His second major league start. First one came at the end of June against Milwaukee. His minor league numbers really impressive. In fact, the #1 strikeout to walk ratio in all of minor league baseball. And he starts his night with strike 1 to Blackmon.
6th rounder out of Illinois State, and I think we need to give some of his background still throughout this outing because it's only his second start. Dodger fans still getting to know him. Position change guy, played a lot of third base in college, was a redshirt junior, but got a few innings on the mound, and the Dodgers were very intrigued with the arm strength.
Blackmon lasers one over Turner for a leadoff single.
Well, he's facing a very potent lineup, but we're going to look at the defense playing behind him for the Dodgers, which is brought to you by Clamato. And we're looking out there in right field. We've seen a few right fielders play over the last few games, and it's Van Slyke out there getting the call, especially with a lefty on the hill. The Dodgers did their part so far, getting some runs early to try to help Brock Stewart out. And they're going to also flash some leather to help him out.
After the leadoff single for Blackman, here's DJ LeMahieu. A.J. Ellis doing the catching today, setting inside for strike one. LeMahieu 1 for 3 last night with a pair of walks. The Rockies winning 7-3. All 8 position players had at least one hit. And so Walt Weiss, for the first time in a month, goes with an identical lineup back-to-back days.
5-game winning streak at home for these Rockies.
Went 10 of 12 overall, 13 and 5 since the break to lead the majors. LeMahieu shoots one to the opposite field. That's another base hit. Blackman holds it second. And back-to-back singles to open the first inning for Colorado.
This ball just finds a hole. It's not hit really that hard. It's about a 3.5 hopper. It gets through the infield, but just finds that hole over there. Adrian having to hold the leadoff hitter Blackman on, so the hole was a little bigger.
And now Carlos Gonzalez. Huge night last night to extend his hitting streak to 14 games. That matches the longest this season by a Rocky. Charlie Blackman also had a 14-gamer in July. Gonzalez a pair of doubles last night, knocked in 4. And waits on the first one from Stewart. Ball 1.
We were discussing before the game, you look at this lineup for the Colorado Rockies, our top 3 hitters, Blackman, LeMahieu, Gonzalez, all hitting over 300. And then in the 4th spot, you have Arenado, who's not hitting 3, but he has 79 RBIs.
Bounce to second, could be 2. There's one. Siegel with a turn to first, not in time. Gonzalez able to beat it out. Bob Guerin on the phone.
Yeah, they're going to have a look. They're thinking that he might have got him. We know Carlos Gonzalez gets down the line. It was a nice turnover there at the middle of the infield, but you know, the ball wasn't hit really hard, so it allowed Gonzalez to get down the line. And I think he does beat it out.
Umpires in those situations are taught to look at the bag and listen for the pop of the mitt. First base umpire Tim Timmons with the correct call, so men at the corners with one away. And Nolan Arenado coming to the dish. As hot as this Rockies lineup has been, their cleanup man in Arenado is going through his roughest stretch in a long time. 2 for his last 22. Here comes Stewart. Strike 1. Arenado's second in the majors in homers, trailing only Trevor Story, the shortstop for the Rockies, who injured his thumb over the weekend, likely done for the season because of surgery. Also second in the majors in runs batted in. Nothing in 2.
2 borderline calls that Brock gets. And Arenado, you can see his confidence and his eye are in question to him. He argued the first strike call, and I'm sure he didn't like that one. Now Brock's got a chance to get out of this jam.
On 0-2, Arenado fouls it back.
I always felt like when the hitter was questioning the umpire's calls, you had a chance to get him to chase something because he's feeling like the strike zone is big. And so if you get things near the borders of the strike zone and break them even farther, you can get the easy swing and miss.
It's not a bad thought because your initial reaction as a hitter, even when you're asking them where the zone, and you're asking, well, is that on the corner? Is it far out? And if they say, oh, no, it got a good bit of it, then it's still in the back of your mind saying, okay, I don't know your zone yet. Do I have to chase off the plate even farther than what you're thinking?
Ooh, look out at 93 for ball 1.
We talked about the barber yesterday. That was some chin music that'll give you a shave.
I was just thinking that same thing. Sal Magley, the Brooklyn Dodgers acquired midseason 1956. That ball's hammered to left center field, and it is gone. Arenado with a 3-run homer to put the Rockies in front.
Sometimes they say, let a sleeping dog lie, and Arenado has been slumbering in a big slump. A little up and in fastball might have woke him up because he swung this bat with conviction.
And you also saw where A.J. Ellis wanted that ball. He wanted that ball down and away, especially after you come up and in on someone, and he gets that one up, misses his spot.
And now strike 1 on David Dahl. You knew it was only a matter of time before Arenado got going again. You just hoped that it was after tomorrow when the Dodgers left town. Now Dahl muscles a soft fly ball to right center that'll sink for a base hit. 4th hit of this first inning for the Rockies against Stewart.
You're going to give up hits here, but the home runs are going to come sometimes too because the ball carries, but it's the bleeders like that one. The other one that fell in between first and second that really start to kill you, and it's really hard to recover from them. The young man on the mound, second big league outing, and has a tough challenge here in Colorado.
Yeah, it's not so much the home runs, or you get a lot of multi-run home runs here. You don't just get a lot of solo home runs here. So because ones fall in like that, and we also saw one earlier where the ball kind of found the hole, you get some base hits, and all of a sudden you get the 3-run home run, or it's that 2-run home run after that bleeder.
Mark Reynolds. It's not just the altitude and the ball flying well. This is the largest park as far as acreage in the outfield. To your point, Nomar, there's more room for balls to fall in to get guys out in front of those home runs. And actually, the Rockies are in the middle of the pack as far as homers this year. Reynolds with a towering drive to center. That ball's way back there. Leaping at the wall is Peterson. No signal yet. It's gone. I think Jock lost his glove over the wall.
I think Arenado's ball is out of anywhere, but this ball is definitely carrying because of the altitude here. It's skied with backspin, and there's some nice wind blowing out. Justin Turner took a ride on the wind, and so does Mark Reynolds.
Well, we were just talking about it. We just said it was the one that falls in, and then it's that multi-run home run that gets you. And right now, it's good that Honeycutt's out there just to try to settle down Brock Stewart. It's a great effort out there by Jock Peterson. You know, I go back, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking about other, you know, extra runs that was also caused. You know, that possible double play, and Carlos Gonzalez beating that out for another run. You know, and you know that wasn't turned by the Dodgers, but some of the reason why that wasn't turned at second base, I'm going to go back to when you watch Corey Seager here and he turns it there. A lot of the reasons why that's not turned as much, and it's just by a hair, it's because you really can't cheat, because now you have instant replay, and you have that new rule too about not being able to take out the runner. So there's, you know, the whole neighborhood play. In the past, you used to be able to kind of stand on the bag and almost call it cheat a little, where you come off and you may not necessarily been on the bag when you caught the ball and turn it, and it gave you just that split second to turn that double play. But now you can't, because they can go back and review it to see if you're on the bag. And like I said, that new rule. And, you know, Carlos Gonzalez hustling down gives him an extra run.
1-2 on Descalso. Yet by making the neighborhood play reviewable, you essentially eliminate the neighborhood
Exactly
play.
right. Exactly. So you hear that a lot from middle infielders now, saying, you know, when we look at the numbers of amount of balls turned into double plays, that's definitely in their head. They say, no, I stay on there longer. And some have said, I haven't changed a bit. I stay on it. Nothing. I don't worry about them taking me out. I assume they're going to take me out. It doesn't matter. But there have been some guys saying, now I make sure I'm there because I don't want it to be any question.
Well, Stewart gets Descalso for the second out of this inning, and up comes Nick Hundley. 8 men to the plate in the first against Stewart, plating 5 runs for the Rockies. When the Dodgers swept Colorado at Dodger Stadium a month ago, they held the Rockies to 2 runs in the 3 games. The Rockies have 12 runs over the first 10 innings of this series. Hundley with a cue shot, little spin foul. They're a different beast in this ballpark. Always have been.
I really see a different focus and a different passion. It's a landmark to reach 500. It's a landmark to say we're in the race and it's August. And all of a sudden everybody has a little pep in their step, a little bit more focused, talking more baseball on the bus, in the clubhouse, in the food room. It's just a different team.
Got in on Hundley's hands, forced to pop up the shallow left. Kike Hernandez was way out there, so it's Seager to make the play and put it end to an arduous first inning for Brock Stewart. A lot of offense in the opening frame at Coors Field. Greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. We mentioned it off of the top, but both of these guys starting tonight began this season in A-ball. Different stories, though. Brock Stewart has kind of come out of the middle of nowhere to be a big leaguer, while Tyler Anderson is a former first-round pick that was a top 5 prospect and then dealt with injuries. Had a hernia in 2012. Shoulder issues in 2013. You mentioned it in the first inning, Oral, but he missed all of last season with a stress fracture in his elbow. And when that got healthy and he was competing for a major league rotation spot during spring training, tweaked his oblique. So started the season on the disabled list. And they planned to work him up the ladder, and they did so quickly, getting into the majors in early June.
And you work a young man up the ladder because you're giving him almost another spring training. So you lower the competition while he builds his endurance, and then the stress goes up with the competition going up, and hopefully the endurance and strength has gone up.
1-1 on Kike Hernandez leading off this inning. 6, 7, and 8 for LA, with Peterson and Ellis to follow.
You get 2, you give up 5. Do you start to feel like, all right, we're in a slugfest?
Definitely feels like that, but you anticipate that when you come here too.
It sure seems like a very hitterish night with the wind and the air.
Got in on Hernandez's hands and got him for the first out of the inning. The numbers you mentioned, Nomar, on Tyler Anderson, not just overall, but what he's done in this ballpark. So many pitchers struggle here, especially young ones. Even John Gray, who we saw dominate the Dodgers over 5 innings last night, he publicly spoke last year after he debuted about having doubts whether or not he could succeed here. Anderson's come up and succeeded right away. Jock Peterson takes strike 1.
And Orioles has said many times he believes, though, pitchers that would succeed here are those that are fastball changeup mix, where it's not so much relying on the breaking ball because it just doesn't break here as much. And that's the type of pitcher Anderson is. He is that fastball changeup.
You think about the psychology of pitching and you get on a roll and you feel good about it, and you might do that on the road. They have the 3rd best ERA on the road, the Rockies. That tells you that guys can pitch and they've got good arms. But you come here and you get beat up. And you take those bad habits with you on the road. And if you're a young pitcher trying to establish yourself and you have to pitch here as your home ballpark, I think it's almost like the big leagues and a half you're coming up to, not just to the big leagues. You're coming to one of the top offensive parks in the whole world as a youngster against the best competition in the world.
2-2 on Peterson. You guys have heard me reference ERA plus before, which basically puts everybody on a scale where 100 is league average. Anything above it is above average. Anything below it is below average. It's adjusted for parks. And Colorado's staff is good when you look at that number. Peterson follows it back, still 2-2. Their staff ranks 9th in ERA plus. So earned run average as a staff adjusted for the ballparks that they're in, and obviously half of the games they're pitching in this launching pad. It's another 2-2, and Peterson takes it inside to run the count full. Jock 0 for 4 last night, looking for his first hit of this series, with A.J. Ellis ready for his first at-bat of the series. On 3-2, it's outside, and it's a 1-out walk.
See if the Dodgers can capitalize on that. That's the last thing you want to do. The walks yesterday really killed the Dodgers. Brandon McCarthy had 5, which was so uncharacteristic of him.
That was a career high. He hadn't walked 4 since 2009. And he said after the game that he just had never felt like that in his big league career. He's spoken with a lot of guys that have gone through Tommy John as he has to get advice from them and to have them preview some of the things he might experience coming back from it. And last night was one of those things, one of those scenarios that former Tommy John guys told him would happen. Nights where he just would have no feel for his stuff and no feel for adjusting from pitch to pitch.
It's almost like your nervous system shuts down on you and the wiring is kind of haywire.
Ellis with a man at first and 1 out here in the second.
The Brandon McCarthy come back and not feeling like you have your release point, the nervous system. I can't really figure out my adjustments. I remember going through that when I came back from my surgery, and mine was shoulder, not elbow. But you just have days where even the caliber of the bullets or what comes out of your arm are different. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just scar tissue healing, new tissue coming around and getting stronger, not really being coordinated yet. Those 5 walks, the career high, 4 of them scored yesterday, so they were painful.
We saw Brandon McCarthy throw some yesterday, balls, going to the backstop. I mean, it was like in the other batter's box where you could tell. First we thought it might have been because of the rain, and then we saw it later where you're like, okay, he doesn't have the feel today.
Ellis shoots a base hit into right center. Peterson read it well. He's on his way to third. Blackman's throw is offline. Base hit for A.J. Ellis. Good aggressive base running from Jock Peterson.
And that's one of the things the Dodgers have focused on this year, made emphasis on it. They're actually one of the top in baseball, going from first to third. And here again on the ball, and we talk about how big the outfield is. Jock Peterson was thinking about third. He reads it right there. He's not even worried about looking at the third base coach, because that is his read all on his own. It's in front of him. He does an excellent job in getting to third.
You mentioned them being one of the best teams at going first to third as far as extra base taken percentage. So not necessarily only first to third, but it includes that. They're number 3 in the National League. And that was an issue much of last season. At the corners with one gone, here's Brock Stewart, who squares around and bunts it towards the mound. Now they've got Peterson hung up, and Arenado will tag him out.
Jock has to have a better read here. He's reading to try to have a safety squeeze, and he sees it down and then realizes as he's going 2 steps, wait a minute, that was bunted straight to the pitcher. That's just got to be a better read right before you go on. You got to anticipate. You have to see where they're playing, and right there, if you're going to go, you might as well just go, because he just left himself in no man's land.
Jack did a pretty good job to avoid the tag for a few seconds there, but Arenado's able to put it on him. Howie Kendrick swings through it, strike 1. Fly to center his first time. Started to talk about his numbers out of the leadoff spot this year. On base percentage above 500 when he's the Dodgers leadoff man. Oh, 0-2. He's hitting every spot in the order. First and second with 2 gone. Anderson's ready for an 0-2. And Kendrick fouls it back.
Just thinking about that play right now with Jock at third base. I mean, that one you know the pitcher's sacrificing it to try to get 2 men in scoring position for Howie Kendrick. So the only way you really should be going is if you can really read it perfectly, like such as we hit it down to third base and you saw where Nolan was playing back, then you can beat it. It just kind of defeated the purpose of what Brock Stewart was trying to do. Because when he put that one down, I think it would have been able to been a sacrifice. I think Ellis would have made it to second, and then it's a whole different at bat here where a base hit possibly knocks in 2.
2 on and 2 out, and a 1-2 from Anderson. Kendrick cues it to second for LeMahieu. The Dodgers strand a pair here in the second, trailing 5-2.
trail 5-2. We talked to you about Rich Hill yesterday when he spoke with the media before the game. He told us that he was still dealing with that blister going on the 15-day DL. He said it felt like someone had taken a knife and cut the top of his finger off, and it was very painful trying to rehab through it. He was actually able to throw a bullpen today, about 50 pitches. He told us it felt really good. There was no pain, no issues with it callousing. He actually said that helps provide some insurance from it reopening. And Dave Roberts telling us he was able to execute all of his pitches. He was very aggressive. So moving forward, they're not sure what's going to happen. It depends on Bud Norris and all of his rehab in LA. He also threw a bullpen today. So depending on those two guys and how they feel over the next couple days, that will determine the starter for Saturday, guys.
All right, Kelly. So good news, at least, that things went well during the bullpen session today. And Brock Stewart back to work, missing outside to his counterpart, Tyler Anderson, with ball one. One of Anderson's 2 career hits, a home run. Fly ball to center. Peterson is there. We talked about Rich Hill some yesterday and the road that he's taken to get here to a Dodger uniform. Even just in the last year, it's incredible what he's gone through. He began last season in Washington's minor league system, spent the first half there. Nationals released him at the end of June, so he went back home to Massachusetts, which is where he's originally from, and worked out with his old American Legion team to try and stay in shape, hopefully be ready for somebody else to sign him. A lot of different organizations offered him a spot as a minor league reliever, but he had his heart set on starting again. Charlie Blackmon taking ball one. So his agent told him, your only chance to do that, it's looking like, is to go pitch an independent ball. So he did. To the Long Island Ducks of the Atlantic League, where a lot of guys go kind of a last chance, try and show off what they're capable of doing still in the latter stages of their career. 2 starts, 11 shutout innings in independent ball. And Boston signed him on August 14th. Well, they signed him to a minor league deal, sent him to AAA. Fly ball on the left field line, peeling foul, and it's 1-2 on Blackmon. Only reason that Rich Hill got a chance in the major leagues, Stephen Wright, the knuckleballer for Boston, was hit in the head by an errant throw during batting practice and one of the concussion DL. And so for the first time in 6 years, Rich Hill started a major league game. Fly ball cranked to center. Peterson back on the track to make the play. 4 starts he made for Boston, had an ERA below 2. Had all kinds of offers this offseason. Signed that 1-year, $6 million deal with Oakland. Betting on himself, betting on a chance that he had to show that what he did last year wasn't just a flash in the pan.
We have another lefty who did that, kept betting on himself, Brett Anderson. Brett always felt like he's a number 2 starter, maybe even a number 1, which he broke in as in Oakland. You see a lot of those guys that understand pitching, understand what's coming out of their arm, and they're willing to take that risk.
And then you also have someone who went to independent ball and revamped himself, and now back in his Scott Kazmir.
Exactly.
Smashed to short. Seager's got it. Stands and throws LeMahieu out. Nice defense from Corey Seager to help the Dodgers and Brock Stewart have a 1-2-3 second inning. Dodger Stadium. Don't miss this highly anticipated matchup starting on Friday. It goes through Sunday. Be the only time these teams meet up this season. Buy your tickets today. Dodgers.com/tickets. 7 first-inning runs between these two teams. Corey Seager singled and eventually scored on Turner's homer. Strike one from Tyler Anderson. You mentioned Brett Anderson last inning as a guy who has revived his career. Brett Anderson had another rehab start last night that went well. 4 innings. Struck out 8.
Walked only 1. And you remember early on, before he went out on rehab, Dave Roberts went down and watched one of his bullpen sessions and said, boy, it is coming out of his hand really good. Everything was sharp and late. And that seems to be the continued report.
Corey Seager leading off the 3rd for the Dodgers. 2-2. And also on the injury front, Kelly touched on it earlier, but Adam Liberatore to the disabled list with the elbow inflammation. Said it's been bothering him some since June, but it wasn't until he hurt his knee in St. Louis that the discomfort really became too much for him to handle. When he tweaked his knee in St. Louis, he altered his delivery some and started to feel that pain more in his pitching arm. So Liberatore to the DL. Lewis Coleman to the DL as well with shoulder fatigue.
Josh Fields down there, been added to the roster. Was traded for and was in the minors for just a couple days. But now his arm is needed, and that is a big arm. Average fastball just below Pedro Baez and slightly above Kenley Jansen's.
That thing wraps to the front door for strike 3 on Seager. First K of the game for Tyler Anderson.
And we're going to have a look at Justin Turner in the first inning. Gets a nice home run, driving the ball to right field as we have a look at a Carl's Cam replay. Put the Dodgers on the board early. Looking to continue swinging the hot bat.
It's only his 3rd opposite field homer of the season. Out of his career high 19. Early on, while he was going through his struggles, a lot of the problems were soft fly balls to the opposite field. He was pulling the ball on the ground. And as he reversed that and started elevating the ball to the pull side, that's when you saw those numbers go up. 1-1.
No surprise that they're working him in right now after hitting a home run on a fastball to the opposite field, trying to make sure he doesn't extend his arm.
Another well hit ball in the air to center. Blackman back on it, edge of the track. This one hangs up for him.
That one he just got underneath it. Just barrels that up just a little bit more. We're looking at his 2nd home run of the game. He knew it right when he hit it. He's like, no, he knew he had some carry, but he knew he didn't get it enough. This is one where you're kind of hoping, you're like, did I get it where I get enough backspin? And maybe it'll carry out for me because I am in Colorado. In the back of your mind, you knew it, that you just missed it.
So Turner's 1 for 2, and Scott Van Slyke, who grounded out to first his first time. Hitting cleanup today, the 4th time that he's done so this season. Comes Anderson with an 0-1. That's down. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Van Slyke starting in right field. Josh Reddick having the day off against a left-handed pitcher, although Dave Roberts said he will get his starts against lefties. Doesn't plan on a straight platoon with the newest Dodger. Anderson's 1-2. Produces his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. On to the bottom of the third in Denver. The Rockies 5, the Dodgers 2. First, we go to the bottom of the third. Plenty of Dodger fans in the house, hoping LA can even this series at a game apiece. And at this point, it looks like keep pace with the Giants, because San Francisco leads Philadelphia 4-2 in the 8th inning, after they gave up 13 runs in the opener last night. Carlos Gonzalez scored on Arenado's home run in the first inning and leads off this third against Stewart. You mentioned Brock Stewart off of the top world, being a guy who didn't pitch a ton even during college. During high school, he was drafted as a shortstop for the New York Mets. Hard hit to second. Howie Kendrick will throw him out. And even early on in college, he was mostly a shortstop and a third baseman while he was at Illinois State. It wasn't until his junior year that he started pitching significant innings, and those innings, using the word significant, that's only relative. 26 2/3 total innings pitched in college for him. But the Dodgers saw enough to take him in the 6th round, and he's rocketed through the system this season.
Son of a coach, and there's also a lot of potential there. I understand what they're recognizing, the arm speed, and still learning to spin the ball. We just saw this little slider right there he pulled away. But the arm strength is there, the movement is very fluid.
Arenado to Seager, or make that Kendrick, playing behind the bag at a position well, 2 away.
He likes to attack the strike zone. He's competing, and he's got a nice formula to get quick outs, because these Rockies are really swinging the bat when the ball's in the strike zone. He's thrown 36 pitches now, and the Rockies have swung at 19 when they're in the strike zone. They've only taken 9 strikes. So it's a combination. If you make some quality pitches early, these guys are hacking.
Now he faces David Dahl, who likewise has climbed through the system quickly this season. Dahl started this year in Double-A, a few weeks in Triple-A before his promotion last week. 1-1. Has a hit in all 8 games as a major leaguer. Over 10th overall pick. Actually, with his first inning single, has made that a 9-game hitting streak to open his big league career. Mark Stewart fires a 2-1 and Dahl pops it up. In foul ground, Justin Turner. Stewart has settled in. A 7-pitch inning for him. Back-to-back 1-2-3 frames after the rocky first. At LA is brought to you by the Dodge Challenger. Test drive one at your local Dodge dealer today. And by Children's Hospital Los Angeles. We treat kids better. September 17th, 1996. Hideo Nomo does the unthinkable, throwing a no-hitter near Coors Field on a night where it was 46 degrees. Cold. It was a little bit rainy. First pitch was delayed by a couple of hours. The conditions on the mound were such that midway through his start, Nomo started throwing exclusively out of the stretch to make up for what was a really messy footing on the mound. Adrian Gonzalez leading off this inning against Tyler Anderson and taking ball one. Rifled into left for a base hit.
Well, Adrian Gonzalez in his first at bat hit the one right back up the middle that ricocheted off of Anderson and went to Arenado. This one, he just stays on the ball and takes it the other way. See the head down, didn't pull off, wasn't worried about trying to pull that ball, trying to hit it out. He just takes his hits.
It's his first of the series. He leads off this fourth inning against Kike Hernandez. Dodgers trying to get the offense cranked up. They were the #1 offense in the National League in the month of July by more than a half run per game. Fly ball to center, sending Blackmon back. Plenty of room.
Elevated changeup right there by Tyler Anderson. It wasn't the best to pitch, but it got the sting out of the bat, and it was hit to the deepest part of the park.
Got some good news for you guys. Phillies with 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, tie game.
Very nice.
In San Francisco as they go to the 9th. Giants with the worst record in baseball since the All-Star break. Who saw that coming? Peterson pops one up, back of first. Out goes LeMahieu, and he's got it. Johnny Cueto had fired 6 shutout innings in that game and then gave up the 2 in the 7th and was charged with the 2 in the 8th. San Francisco 4-12 since the All-Star break and going through a difficult trip right now. A.J. Ellis taking strike 1. You wouldn't figure that the start of the trip would be difficult. Philadelphia the easiest leg. The Phillies took the opener last night. They'll then go to Washington and then to Miami.
You don't usually see that happen with a Bruce Bochy bullpen. He usually starts to make very quick adjustments in the game and get in front of the offense that he's facing. But sounds like he hung with Cueto and Johnny spit the hook out.
Ellis singled his first time and an 0-1. He takes low and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. We talked about how difficult of a stretch the Giants were getting ready to play after what was a really easy stretch, relatively speaking, to finish the first half. They had a stretch of 29 games where 25 were against teams with losing records. And now they're in a stretch of 34 games where 28 of them are against teams that entered the second half 500 or better.
Compared with the Dodgers schedule, the Dodgers have a 12-game differential there after the All-Star break and facing sub 500 teams, so a little easier schedule for the Dodgers.
2-2.
Really feels like it's going to come down to the 9 games against the Giants. And I think that was the exact focus of Brian Sabean and the San Francisco Giants in acquiring Matt Moore, a left-handed starter. When you look at the Dodger numbers, and Nomar pointed out how significant it is for the Dodgers to show that they can beat left-handed pitchers.
We also talked about this team they're playing right now, that you can't sleep on these Colorado Rockies. And as we look at the standings where Colorado is, and you were talking about those teams, that record, when you were talking about the Dodgers, the teams they're facing sub 500, well, they were factoring as Colorado being one of those teams, and they're at 500 right now and are playing the best baseball in Major Leagues right now.
Gonzalez takes off on the 3-2, and it's fouled off by Ellis. 2 gone here in the 4th in a 5-2 game. So Colorado's only 3 games out of that second wild card. The issue is that there are a few teams between them and the second wild card. Ellis fouls another.
And speaking of left-handed pitchers and having to beat them and hit them, once the rosters expand after September 1st, teams are going to load up on lefties when they face us. It's going to be a goal of Turner Ward and Dave Roberts to really get the hitters feeling more comfortable against lefties.
Ellis strikes out swinging after competitive at-bat against Anderson. On to the bottom of the 4th in a 5-2 game. of the season in the first inning. That made it 5-2. We take a look at our Morongo Casino Resort and Spa slow-mo cam. Jock Peterson gave it a great try at the wall, but lost his glove and lost the ball into the trees and the rocks out there in center for the second home run against Stewart. But since then, he's retired the last 8.
40 of those pitches, 29 strikes, an awful lot of fastballs, which you have to do here at Coors Field because the breaking stuff does not break. He's only thrown 4 changeups and about 6 sliders, 30 fastballs.
Mark Reynolds, his 249th career home run. And a base hit into center to lead off this inning. Graphic jinx.
Graphic jinx and a lineup understanding that it's probably going to be a very hard pitch, and they have been swinging at them when they've been strikes.
You mentioned Brock's father, a former coach at Illinois State. He's now a scout in the Tampa Bay system. When Brock was eligible for the draft, his father was a scout for San Diego, and San Diego wanted to draft him and asked for his father's opinion on him. And his dad, Jeff, basically asked the Padres not to take him because he didn't want everybody to claim that his success and his selection was a result of his father being in the organization. Said that he wanted his son to be able to cut his own path. And so the Dodgers took him in the 6th round. And 2 years later, he's a big leaguer. Line to first, off one bounce, they go to second one, back to first late.
We were talking about earlier about the double play not being able to be turned. Earlier we talked about, you know, the rules about being around the bag. You can't really necessarily cheat to get that extra to get the momentum. Well, the other thing here, you see the confusion at second base. Also a factor in there is also the shifts. There's so many shifts in the different positioning that the middle infielders have. And that's just kind of right there, a byproduct of that, the way they were playing. Right now, that was just a matter of communication. Who's supposed to get that when that ball's hit? A lot of times they find themselves in different positions and also not having the momentum that they need when the ball is thrown to them at second to finish off the double play.
Here's the 8-hitter, Nick Hundley. There is strike one.
I can tell you, I would trade if I was still pitching. I would trade having my infielders in the correct position and not being able to get a double play, but make sure they get the ball over the fact that they're in what would have been considered routine double play depth, and all of a sudden the ball goes through. So it's new. You have to learn that these guys sometimes are not going to turn double plays because of the positioning, but you're also recording more outs. You're just not getting them in bunches.
And starting pitchers sign off on the defensive positioning leading up to their start. So it's not like there's any positioning behind them where they're saying, what in the world's going on?
I was a predominantly ground ball pitcher, and my worst outings a lot of times were not when the ball was hit in the air and I had a bad sinker, but it was just for the fact that the ball found the holes and the baseball probabilities didn't work in my favor. And I've got to believe, with all the data now and the shifting that goes on, that the baseball probabilities would start to work in my favor on all those ground balls.
Bounce to third. Turner picks a short hop and steps into his throw to get Hundley.
Turner does a good job getting his body around this ball so he can get his glove out in front and to make that play. Right when that ball was hit off the bat and it hit the front part, it hit the dirt right in front of the grass, right in front of home plate. He took his step. His momentum was going forward, which is so important to get your body in the right position to get eventually the hop that gets to you.
Now the pitcher Anderson with a man at second and 2 gone. And Stewart misses away with a fastball. All right, now this start for Stewart has a similar personality to it that his first major league start did. And that is one inning where he gave up 5 runs and then a bunch of zeros, trying to make a third 0 in succession after the 5-run first. It was the second inning that doomed him in Milwaukee.
Was not even on the radar at the beginning of the year. And when Rich Hill starts for the Dodgers, that'll be our 13th starting pitcher. Brock Stewart right in that mix, only in his second big league start. I'll tell you what, the fastball is definitely big league. The movement is definitely big league. The poise and the willingness to compete out there and respond to a 5-run first inning by putting a couple zeros back up on the board. Just some refinement to the off-speed stuff he's going to continue to work on. But when you're really down to 1.5 pitches, and I mean by one being the fastball and the half being, is it the slider that's working today or is it the changeup, and it doesn't really work as consistently as you want, the hitters start to narrow you in, and so that means your fastball location has to be almost perfect, and that's what he didn't have in that first inning.
Bounce back to him, comes off the mound, and the athletic Stewart throws Anderson out. Yeah, in that first inning, he threw 23 pitches. He's thrown 28 in the 3 innings since. At LA is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box. Limited time only at participating restaurants. This is last May, one day after a snow out here at Coors Field. Kike Hernandez has the ski mask on, making a catch out there in left field. And speaking of bad weather, there's some rain and some storms moving to the area again tonight. It was in the first inning that the delay happened last night. And much of this break, grounds crew has been out there discussing things with the umpires. But you can see some of those dark clouds rolling in over the third base side. Nomar, you saw some lightning off in the left field distance a couple of innings ago.
Yeah, but it was lightning, but the clouds didn't look great. You just saw the lightning, and all of a sudden now over the left field wall there's starting to be gray clouds trying to creep in.
Still considered a sunny day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, check mark. Brock Stewart fouls off the first one from Anderson, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Same thing yesterday.
I was up at 6:30, took a nice walk downtown, went to breakfast.
4 hours earlier than he's ever woken up.
On the road.
That's why he's mentioning it on the air. And he didn't tell you the nap he took after that.
After breakfast, I'm like, wow, this breakfast thing is great, but oh, I got to take a nap.
The 1-1. 1-2. Found a good breakfast place, so.
Very nice. One you recommended. Snooze.
It's a good one.
But there's Syrup is the other one? Or?
Yeah.
Yep, I went there today.
Nice.
Anderson gets Stewart to begin this 5th inning.
Do you put like syrup on spinach for your breakfast?
Play for the tie.
I mean, as healthy as you eat, you go to a place for breakfast called Syrup.
They have healthy stuff there.
Okay.
They do.
I didn't go at 6:30 in the morning, though. I'm not going to lie.
Third trip to the Dodger order begins with Howie Kendrick hacking at a change. Strike one. So for 2 today. 1 for 6 in this series. Other than 2.
The game is kind of settled in, and it's time for the Dodger spark to get back at it.
Well, you're getting to the top of their lineup. This is what you're looking for. Obviously, you had Brock Stewart leading off your pitcher, but still with 1 out, you can still get a nice rally going. At least, slowly peck away at this lead, trying to get just one, not try to tie it or take the lead.
And they ring Kendrick up on a fastball that he thought was up and in. That's strikeout number 5 for Anderson, and 2 gone in the 5th.
He shows changeup away. He shows cutter in, and it looks like maybe he catches it, maybe he doesn't. But borderline didn't go Howie's way.
So 2 up and 2 down, and here's Seager, who is 1 for 2. And Seager lifts a fly ball to center. Blackman and Dahl converging. It drifts into left, and Blackman makes the catch. So this game is official now as we go to the bottom of the 5th with the rain moving in. We welcome you back to Coors Field, and after what was a very Coors Field-like first inning, this game is settled in.
It really has. Brock Stewart done a good job after giving up those 5 to settle and put some zeros on the board. He's given his offense an opportunity to come back and peck away at the lead, but Anderson's done a good job too.
Yeah, both pitchers have really started to find the feel for their secondary pitches, and especially their changeup, keeping the hitters off balance, and those fly balls now, instead of leaving the park, are falling short on the warning track.
I mentioned it headed to break last inning, but Stewart needed 23 pitches in the first inning. He's only thrown 28 over the next 3. A crack bat floater into center, and the Coors Field effect strikes again. Outfielders have to play so deep with so much room to cover, you get more dunk shots like that.
You sure do. The gaps are big, and you're trying to guard against the doubles. The ball carries, and especially the way the wind is blowing tonight, and the full swing, you don't get a good jump. You see that kind of false step by Jock where he's got to read the velocity off the bat, and there was just no way he was going to get to that one, even with a good jump.
And that's why some teams have have tinkered with the idea of possibly just playing their outfielders in, almost like giving it up if they go over their head, because they're thinking, all right, here the way it carries, if it's going over the head, it's possibly carrying over the wall, but at least take away those hits. I mean, easier said than done. It's really tough, and especially if you're an outfielder or a fielder and you're going, gosh, I'm just giving up so much area you want to have to cover and feel like you're just helpless to make a play.
DJ LeMahieu is 1 for 2 this evening. Brock Stewart out of the stretch, deals low, throw down to second, not in time. And a stolen base for Charlie Blackmon.
A.J. Ellis with a good release and a nice snap throw. This is stolen off of Brock Stewart, and his time to the plate doesn't really give A.J. the complete chance to get Blackmon. With Blackmon's speed and a little bit of a delay in Stewart's delivery, he gets in there just barely. They're going to take a little time to take a look. Dave Roberts might want him to look in New York, but he's waiting for that signal.
I could see that. I mean, it looked a lot closer as we slowed it down than it did when you saw it in real time as it happened. It was pretty impressive as how quick Corey Seager was able to catch that ball with slightly across his body and get the tag there, which made it a lot closer. I'm wondering to see, once that foot hits there, okay, is it off now, and does it get him? Is his glove still on it? So that's the other thing they're checking. So they're checking numerous things, not just the timing now, because they know they could call for that replay and see if his body came off the bag.
So with a man at second, a 1-0, and a fly ball scorched to right center, sending Peterson back. He turns, and it is gone. LeMahieu with a 3rd home run of the night against Stewart.
LeMahieu picks on this changeup that just kind of lazily runs towards the inside corner. He stayed back on it really well, so well that he was able to even hit a changeup to right field over the wall.
It's only his 7th of the season, but the 3rd one against Stewart tonight. And now Carlos Gonzalez looking at strike 1. Stewart's so dominant in the minors. Over his 18 minor league starts this year, he allowed 4 home runs, and 3 of them against the Rockies over the first 4+. 1-1. Gonzalez waiting on this 2-1 pitch. Sails inside, 3 balls and 1 strike on Carlos Gonzalez, trying to extend his 14-game hitting streak. Comes in with a 5th best average in the National League. And since mid-May, it's number 2 in the majors. A towering fly ball to right center field. Van Slyke turns around and says, where in the world did that one go?
Well, Van Slyke couldn't see it, but Carlos Gonzalez knew he got it all right off the bat. This was a towering ball. Ended up going to the 2nd deck over there in right center. As you see, Van Slyke can't see it because you got a nice gray sky in the air. He had no chance of seeing it, but he didn't have to worry about it coming down because it went down in the stands.
So LeMahieu and Gonzalez go back-to-back, and now Arenado, who's already gone deep tonight, takes ball 1. And the bullpen gets going. That's the newest Dodger, Josh Fields, loosening. So the Rockies with 15 runs already in this series. The 1-1. Now the 1-2. Ellis wanted it up and it was fouled back. We'll do it again. Nolan Arenado, Southern California native, Dodger fan growing up. He got his first 3 major league hits at Dodger Stadium, including his first home run back in 2013. Down the right field line, it's slicing foul. Got the sense from his body language after his long home run his first time up that he felt like with one swing he snapped himself out of this funk that's lasted since the break.
Little different look in his eyes now when he's in the box, and you see just the movements there. A little more aggressive. Just the take right there. You know, bends the knees and puts the nose down there where the pitch is. Compared to backing out, standing up straight and wondering, where's my swing?
Brock Stewart has thrown 67 pitches now here in his second major league start. First Dodgers starting pitcher to make his major league debut. Same season that he was an A-ball to begin. Cincinnati Nomo did it in 1995. And he walks Arenado. Now 5 in the first and now 3 here in the 5th for the Rockies. Fields getting ready for his Dodger debut now. As worked as this bullpen has been, the fact that Stewart has only thrown 68 pitches is a silver lining that could at least eat up some innings. Dahl smacks a base hit to right. Arenado on his way to third. And the ball is cut off on a base hit from Dahl, his second of the night. The first 5 have reached in this inning against Brock Stewart.
Dave Roberts trying to milk some more outs out of Brock Stewart. These Rockies are not making it easy on the Dodgers here. He's wondering if Josh Field's ready, and he probably was ready and is now, but he was trying to see if he could get Brock Stewart through this inning. Then you don't have to use even another bullpen piece after Josh Fields or whoever more you have to go to.
Yep, so with the first 5 reaching, including a pair of home runs in this inning, that's going to do it for Brock Stewart. And Josh Fields comes in an 8-2 game in the 5th inning in Denver. But a pair of big innings and the long ball dooming him here in his second major league start, allowing 5 in the first. At least 3 more here in the 5th inning with the men at the corners his responsibility. And he hands it off to Josh Fields for his major league or his Dodger debut. Far from his major league debut. Acquired at the trade deadline from Houston. He's in his 4th major league season now.
Has a very big arm, and there's some big time upside here that the Dodgers might have stole away. Recognizing the fact that he's pitched in an awful lot of bad luck lately. Really, the ERA doesn't equate to the effectiveness of his pitches.
And he faces Mark Reynolds to begin his outing and misses ball 1. Reynolds a home run and a single. Batting with Arenado at third and Dahl at first. Line drive, base hit to left. It's 9-2 Colorado on an RBI single from Mark Reynolds.
This is an offense that lost the leading home run hitter in the National League. Mr. Story, their shortstop, with a torn ligament in his thumb. They do not look any worse for the wear tonight, the way they're swinging the bat.
Dan the Descalso, 7th man to bat in this inning, and the Dodgers still looking for their first out. Descalso's 0 for 2 with a strikeout, and he grounded into a fielder's choice. New shortstop for the Rockies with Trevor Story likely done for the season. His surgery on his thumb scheduled for tomorrow. And actually Descalso was on track to be the starter coming out of spring training before he fractured his hand. That opened the door for Story. Line to center. Peterson on the move, shy of the track for the first out.
Josh Fields can really spin the baseball. Those last 2 breaking pitches, to be able to turn the ball over at this altitude and make it break that much, tells you that arm speed that he has, which can reach 96, 98 miles an hour, he can also spin it.
I was just looking at the differential on that off speed and the 97. It was a 74-mile-an-hour breaking ball. It's a 20-mile-an-hour difference between his average fastball and that breaking ball.
Sit on Nick Hundley with men at first and third. He looks at ball 1. Yeah, Fields is a guy who was a first-round pick and a former highly touted prospect in the Mariners system. He's traded to Boston at the deadline along with Eric Bedard in 2011. And then Houston got him in the Rule 5 draft prior to the 2013 season. And his best season as a big leaguer last year. And it showed you the numbers so far this season. They're not pretty in the majors. But when you look at some of the peripheral numbers on him, it's easy to see why the Dodgers thought that he was a guy that could help. Here's his 1-1. Spins over the outside corner for strike 2.
Just like a hitter, when a hitting coach or a manager says, you know what, he's coming out of his slump. You can see it in his approach. You can see it in the swing. But they haven't gotten the results yet. And that's kind of what you're looking at with Josh Fields. It's kind of like you can see it coming. Scouts see it. The peripheral numbers that you mentioned, Joe, they start to read differently. And he has a track record that if he can just duplicate some of that performance, all of a sudden you've got a piece in the bullpen.
There's a 1-2 to Hundley, and it's a fastball at 94 to get him. He's guessing off speed. The fastball retires Hundley for round number 2.
Omar, you mentioned the huge speed differential, and all of a sudden you get 94, 96. It's got to make you blink.
Well, he saw a couple breaking balls, a couple curveballs, and he also saw like a slider off about 84. So you're thinking, okay, well, I know he's got those big breaking balls. Then he just freezes you on that fastball.
Georgia native, played his college ball at UGA. Fires a 1-0. Tyler Anderson tries to lay off and does. 2 balls, no strikes. Anderson 2 hits so far in his major league career. One of them left the yard on the night that he got his first major league win. 3-0. Fields made his major league debut in 2013. First time he's pitched somewhere for a team other than Houston. And he walks the pitcher on 4 pitches. Top of the order now. Blackman started this inning with a single, came in to score on LeMahieu's homer. It's the 5th inning, and it's already Blackman's 4th at bat. Some kind of secrets hidden in that beard. Floated to right. Van Slyke is there, and they'll leave the bases loaded, but they get 4 runs in the inning and lead the Dodgers 9-2. Anderson here in his rookie season, when you take into account that he pitches half his games in this ballpark, he's now pitched into the 6th in all 10 of his starts. There's not been one clunker for him.
And when you hear people talk about the way he's pitched at the big league level, you don't hear him rave about the stuff. You hear him rave about his feel and his ability to understand what he is doing and what the hitter is doing. He has a great feel for pitching. And that's what we would see here tonight. You don't go, oh my gosh, it's an electric fastball. Oh my gosh, it's a swing and miss changeup. Wow, the cutter is really late. No, you just see a guy out there who really understands what he's doing and how to apply himself to the situation.
Speaking about knowing how to pitch, he went to Valley High School in Las Vegas, same school that produced Greg Maddux. Also produced Mike Morgan, who pitched for the Dodgers for a few seasons as part of his 2-decade career.
Mike pitched for about 17 teams, I think.
Yeah. Over 22 years.
Got to the big leagues at a very young age.
And pitched until a relatively old age by baseball standards as Justin Turner takes a strike. Turner's 2-run homer accounting for the Dodgers scoring in this game. That made it 2-0 in the first inning and gave the Dodgers their only lead of this series. But Colorado hammering 4 home runs to score 9 consecutive runs. Here's the 1-1. It's a little bit outside. Turner's ahead in the count.
When it was 5-2, you felt like you could do it all in one good inning. Maybe you take small bites, but now with 9-2, even in this ballpark, you've got to build a few innings probably. Only got 4 to work with. We want the Giants and the Phillies to play all night.
Tied at 4 in the 11th, by the way, in that game in Philadelphia. Turner takes low, full count.
The Rockies are licking their chops as they watch the Marlins get swept by the Cubs. And then they're going to come in here after us.
Turner with a solid smash into center for a base hit. Apparently Miami's going to get in here tonight. Be one of those rare things where there's 2 big league teams staying at one hotel.
They are licking their wounds too. They lost today to the Cubs with a lead in the 9th. I think they were undefeated going into the 9th with a lead, and they lost with a walk and a wild pitch.
Here's Van Slyke, who is 0 for 2 in this game. Off speed to begin, strike 1. Tyler Anderson, 26 years old. His college ball at Oregon. It's a first-round selection in 2011. Actually drafted before Trevor Story by the Rockies in the first round that year. All-time strikeouts leader, Oregon Ducks history. It's actually a program that has had success recently, but was shut down for an extended period of time. Just revived a few seasons back. He's made a trip to the College World Series. There's a 1-2. And Van Slyke floats one into center. Blackman coming on to make the play. Back to first goes Turner, 1 gone. After Anderson was a first-round pick, he got off to a good start despite those injuries. He was able to battle through them to be named the Texas League Pitcher of the Year when he was in AA 2 seasons ago. And a lot of people thought he had a chance to break camp with the club last year, but the fractured elbow on his pitching arm that forced him to miss all of last season. Falling on Adrian Gonzalez. Spent all last year living in Arizona in Scottsdale, and he spent the entire summer living in a hotel because he didn't want to sign a lease on an apartment. He had no idea how long the rehab would go. Thought there was a chance that he'd heal up and be able to get going sooner rather than later, but days became weeks, weeks became months, and before he knew it, 2015 had come and gone without having thrown a pitch.
Well, you mentioned him being a first rounder in 2011. And just look at that 2011 draft in the first rounder. There's a lot of major leaguers right now. And you look at the names: Garrett Cole, Trevor Bauer, Dylan Bundy, Anthony Rendon, Francisco Lindor, Javier Baez, George Springer, Jose Fernandez, Sonny Gray, C.J. Cron, Joe Panik.
Wow. Off of the handle, broke his bat. They go to second for one and rifle it to first to get Gonzalez for a double play. All Rockies in this series so far. On to the bottom of the sixth.
Become very accustomed to Julio Urias as a starting pitcher for the Dodgers. A different setup tonight, though, as Dave Roberts told us he brought him in to provide this team some length as they sent Ross Stripling back down. And the next few days, that will be his role, to provide length. After that, he is an option to be a starter, possibly over the weekend, depending on how guys are able to come back from their different injuries.
All right, how about him shedding the glasses, guys? First time we've seen him without the glasses on. As he makes his first relief appearance.
The guys that Kelly was referring to would be Rich Hill coming out of his side work today, which they said was aggressive, and he threw all his pitches and he felt really good. And then also Bud Norris back in LA had a side work, and that seemed to have gone well. So they're waiting for that all to get processed and to watch how much Julio works here tonight to start to kind of plot out the rotation.
It's a long conversation between him and AJ Ellis. You know, it's, once again, he's calling them back just to get on the same page. But interesting, because it's not like it's Julio's first time up here.
Well, it might be that Julio worked on a few things in the minor leagues and maybe shortened up his slider or changed the angle on the curveball, and they haven't had a chance to really visit because he just got here. He wants to make sure that AJ knows what he's trying to accomplish with the fingers that AJ puts down.
2, 3, and 4 on the Rockies order coming up against Urias. Ready for his first Coors Field experience. LeMahieu homered against Stewart. That takes ball one. We mentioned him pitching without the glasses for the first time. And the reason that he wears those, he had a benign mass behind his left eye. And throughout his childhood, growing up into his teenage years, he's had 4 operations on that eye to remove that mass. He said, God gave me a bad left eye, but a great left arm.
It's well said.
Not missing by much. 3-1. Gonzalez and Arenado to follow in the 6th inning for the red-hot Colorado Rockies. 3-2. Paul Weiss's team has won 10 of 12. They're 13-5 since the break, and barring a huge Dodger comeback, would move above 500 for the first time since May 18th, when they were 20-19. Of course, they've always been a team that's gotten off to pretty good starts. Rare has been the time, though, where they've sustained those starts.
They were 16 games below 500 at this point in the season last year. They were 15.5 out of the NL West. Their pitching staff had the worst ERA in the National League.
Arias walks LeMahieu to begin this inning. And they were established in 1993, the Rockies were, and they've only had 6 winning seasons in franchise history. Only 3 times have they gone to the postseason. 1995, did it in 07. They went to the World Series that year. That was that incredible run down the stretch where they won 21 of their last 22 games. Played their best baseball at the right time. And made the run to the World Series. Last time they went, 2009. That was this guy's rookie year, Carlos Gonzalez. And a missile to right, rising its way over the wall for his 2nd home run of the game.
One breaking ball he threw to DJ LeMahieu before he walked him, didn't make it to the plate, and this one doesn't make it to the plate either. It just kind of hangs up there and spins. We talked about young rookies pitching in this ballpark and how you have to get used to it, start to understand what your pitches do here at this altitude, and I'm sure that's a lesson Julio's going to learn right there, because the 2 breaking balls he's thrown so far have just stayed up right around the shoulders.
5 home runs allowed by Dodger pitching tonight. That's a new season high as Nolan Arenado pulls it foul. Nineteenth time he's gone deep twice in a game. This is actually only 1 run short of the most runs allowed by Dodger pitching in a game. Gave up 12 runs first week of the season in San Francisco. Two and two.
We've seen a lot of times when Julio Urias has been pitching here in the big leagues where he throws those balls that are just borderline and he just misses the call, and he even has this look on him like, man, that's a ball.
Chop to the left side. Seager charges and throws wildly. Arenado's speed forced a hurried throw. Oral, did the zone noticeably for you get incrementally smaller as you went up the ranks?
It does, and the other thing that you notice also is that the big league hitter takes the borderline pitch a lot more than the minor league hitter. So you get a lot more swings and a lot more outs, and the minor league umpire might not be quite as sharp, and so you get those calls. You earn them a little quicker at the minor league level.
Couple of highly touted prospects here, and Urias and Dahl facing off. And Dahl hits one into right center. That will drop in for a base hit. Arenado heads to third.
It's a nice piece of hitting, and it was a very good pitch, because I think the key here is that the hitters are probably going to hit the ball hard at times off. You've got to keep the ball down, and he forced Dahl to dig this ball out, get it down below the knees. It's a great piece of hitting to be able to elevate that ball and hit it on a line. And Julio pitches down there at the knees or below. He's going to be a lot more successful than if he misses up around the waist and the shoulders.
So the first four have reached against Urias in his first major league relief appearance. And now trying to become the first guy to retire, Mark Reynolds tonight. He's got a home run and a pair of singles. Bounce to third. Turner goes to second. Kendrick goes to first. Now they come home, and Arenado's in there safely. So they get two. Arenado scores Colorado's 12th run.
Well, the reason they had a chance at Arenado is Arenado took his time to going down. He was making sure he threw it to second, but he was also making sure that the turn at second base didn't come home. See him hesitate, wait. Now he didn't take off. He was thinking if I take off that they might have a chance at home, but after they turned two, it gave Adrian a possible chance at home plate.
So they're wiped clean, and Descalso comes up and pulls a breaking ball to first. Gonzalez with a masterful pick of the backhand, but Descalso beats him to the bag.
Well, Descalso not only beat Adrian to the bag, he also beat Julio Urias there to the bag as well. That's why Adrian, first he made the play, he was going, and then he realized that Urias wasn't going to be there, so his only chance was to try to beat Descalso. As Urias kind of falls off to the side and he just kind of hesitates. He doesn't break over there right away. That's why you don't even see him in the right there. You barely see him, and that's not going to be there in time. And Descalso definitely beats Adrian to the bag.
Descalso got a half a step coming out of the box because he was fooled on a breaking ball, so he was leaning towards first and got a really good jump.
Hundley looks at strike one. So the Dodgers have given up what matches a season high 12 runs. Rockies have 15 hits, season high in hits allowed for the Dodgers 17. As in the same game that they allowed the 12 runs previously against San Francisco on the opening road trip. That one gets by Ellis, and Descalso heads to second. Rough nights for a pair of Dodger rookies, and Brock Stewart and now Julio Urias, who's allowed 3 runs here in the 6th inning, and his 1-1 to Nick Hundley is fouled back. Starting to rain a little bit. Hard to tell, but it is sprinkling some. It's a 1-2. And foul tipped into the mid for strike 3. The Rockies add 3, and it's 12-2 to the late innings. To you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop online at choosenissan.com. Eric Karros hit 20 home runs as a visiting player in this ballpark over the course of his career. That's a Dodger record here. More home runs than any player in Los Angeles Dodger history.
His head was looking out where the last time your eyes recognized the ball. You don't really see it hit off the bat.
Oh, you always see it hit off the bat.
Maybe you do.
Maybe you and Ted Williams.
Kike Hernandez leading off this inning against Tyler Anderson, who pitches 1-0. That's in there for a strike, 1-1. And so Anderson has now completed 6 innings in 8 of his 10 big league starts. That is without overwhelming stuff. That is with an elite feel for pitching. It's 2-1, 3-1.
You know what he is? He's like that golfer you play with that you go, well, he doesn't hit it a mile, and he's not like super accurate, but he's just got good misses. He doesn't miss in the middle of the plate. You know, it's either a strike in the right area or it's a ball off the plate, but it's more often than not a strike in the right area. Like that pitch right there. Yeah, it's a walk, and you don't want to walk somebody 12-2, but his pattern, the way he shoots his gun, he's got real good spray pattern.
You made the golf comparison. In golf, they say it's not how many good shots you hit, it's how many bad shots you don't.
Exactly. You know, you miss to the right part of the green, you know, the wide side of the green. You're going at the pin, but if you miss, you're still on the green. You're not in the rough or in the trap, and that's what it is as far as a good feel for pitching that he is showing.
Jock Peterson stands in and looks to strike 1. Jock walked his first time tonight. That's one of 2 free passes issued by the 26-year-old from Las Vegas. Chop to first. Reynolds goes to second. Anderson covers for the double play. 3-6-1, and they're wiped clear. Didn't get a Howie Kendrick bobblehead Tuesday, August 9th, when the Dodgers play host to the Phillies. They'll be available to the first 40,000 fans in attendance, courtesy of Farmer John. Go to Dodgers.com/promotion. So we're all Phillies fans right now as they play the Giants in a 4-4 game in the 11th.
That game's been in the 11th for a while.
Maybe the scoreboard's broken out there. We need to check our app. Ellis is 1 for 2. One of the 5 Dodger hits tonight. And 5 hits last night as well in a 7-3 defeat. Trailing by a bunch here in the 7th.
MLB app has it 4-4, bottom of the 11th, 1 out. Phillies have a man on first.
AJ's got his second knock of the game. It is so hard when the at-bats come as sparingly as they do for A.J. Ellis. This is only his 7th start since the beginning of July. It's his first one in a week. And here he is with a 2 for 3 night.
I liken it to being a starting pitcher and batting in the 9-hole every 5th day. A.J., that's all the reps you're getting.
There he is, bats for himself. Strike 1. Julio is a really good hitter as a young kid in Mexico. He has 1 base hit so far in his major league career. I think that could probably be said for just about any big league pitcher, though, right? That they're a really good hitter as a kid. How are you, Oral?
Or they'll say they were.
Yeah. Oral?
I don't want to brag.
Yeah. You were the Nomar Garcia Parra of your Little League.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. We'll tee you both up. Put you both on a pedestal. Of innings from a team thrown by relievers in Dodger history. This group right here has a larger percentage of the chunk of innings thrown by this staff in Dodger history, at least in LA Dodger history. So 38% of the team's innings thrown by relievers. So Julio Urias out there for his 2nd inning of work. That's why they had him hit for himself. So he can chew up some innings here and get deeper into this 12-2 game. Bullpen's been good, but it's been used more than any other in baseball since mid-May. The They were taxed last night because of Brandon McCarthy's short outing. And again, put into work earlier than you'd like tonight. Rafael Ynoa leading things off against Urias, taking ball one. Just called up yesterday. It's a corresponding roster move with Trevor Story's injury. The 2-0. 2-1. Out of the Dominican Republic. Pops the mid at 93, and it's 2-2. Dodgers led this game 2-0 after a half inning on Justin Turner's home run. But 5 in the first, 4 in the fifth, and 3 against Urias in the sixth for Colorado. Noah pops it up. Adrian Gonzalez into foul ground for the first out. We talk about the MLB at-bat app. We've got it cranked up here with the, I guess you can't really see it.
Yeah, it's kind of washed away.
You could just tell them, what are you taking a look at?
Well, I was just
right
watching the Giants-Phillies game, and they just had a possible double play ball, an umpire review, and the Giants did turn a double play to get out of a jam in the bottom of the 11th, so they're going to the 12th.
It was 2 on with 1 out, right, for the Phillies.
Yeah. Yep. And then I'm watching, I got the updates of our game here, watching the box score, so definitely worked.
So the Giants and Phillies play into the 12th. Charlie Blackmon taking strike 1. Quite an off season for Charlie Blackmon. In a 1-week stretch, he went elk hunting in Idaho, deep sea fishing in the Gulf of Mexico, and went for a ride with the Blue Angels. Said he passed out multiple times during his flight with the Blue Angels on barrel rolls and flips that they were doing. He was on a show on the Sportsman Channel. So they packed that all into a week, followed him around with a camera crew. Camera crew is not there, though, at a Nuggets game that he attended this winter. They pulled him out of the crowd and, gave him a good hand. Here's Charlie Blackmon of the Rockies in attendance. They had him shoot a half-court shot, and he made it.
Oh, my God. He's the most interesting man in the world.
And that's what they didn't get that on camera. He's probably going, of all things, I could have.
Did he get $10,000 or a new car?
Or win it for somebody?
He could use a new car. He's still driving the same car that his parents bought him in high school. 2004 Jeep Laredo. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but he's making $3 million this year. Still rocking the 04 Laredo.
Good for him.
Carlos Gonzalez said during spring training, it's not even fun to look at. 2-1 on LeMahieu. He is uniquely Charlie Blackmon.
Fellow Yellow Jacket.
That's right. LeMahieu hits it up the middle into center for a 2-out single. Time now for the top tier plays brought to you by Arco. Speaking of Carlos Gonzalez, this wasn't fun to look at either if you're a Dodger fan. 2 home runs tonight, 23 on the season now. 2 of the 5 long balls the Rockies have hit tonight. That's a season high allowed by Dodger pitching. Season high 5 home runs, season high 12 runs, and 1 short of a season high in hits. They've given up 16 tonight. All that is to say, thank God tomorrow comes.
The long-term perspective on this game for what's left is to get Urias to go as far as possible to protect as many pieces as possible to be fresh for tomorrow's game. Unless the Dodgers all of a sudden put a 6 or a 7 spot on the board in the next inning,
Pushes one to Seager, and Kendrick covering at second, and the inning. And Gonzalez, oh no, never made it out of the batter's box. Taking a look at that left lower leg. Rolled that ankle, and you hope that's all it is. Already lost Trevor Story to the season-ending thumb injury. They'll hold their breaths here in Denver with their star Gonzalez crumbling out of the batter's box. Stays in the game after hitting. He plays left. That moves David Dahl from left to right. And Carlos Gonzalez comes out. Was helped off by the training staff, and you hope that he's okay. Man, guy having just a great season, and Rockies on this current run, trying to build the momentum, but with Trevor Story going out over the weekend, and now they see Gonzalez go down with an injury. And Walt Weiss brings Jordan Lyles into the game. Top of the Dodger order, Howie Kendrick 0 for 3. Looking at strike one. Right back to the mound. Kendrick, first out of the 8th. Brings up Corey Seager, and you can celebrate Corey Seager's All-Star season Thursday, August 25th, when the Giants come to town. First 40,000 fans in attendance get a Corey Seager bobblehead from your Southern California BMW centers. Go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Their former first-round picks facing off. Lyles was drafted in the first round by the Astros back in 2008. Seager, of course, a first-round pick of the Dodgers just a few years back. Converted starter. And a full-time starter as recently as opening the season in the rotation. But he's moved into the bullpen. Seager lifts one to right. Dahl started back. Now comes on, and the raindrops falling makes the catch for out number 2.
Dodgers glad to see a right-handed arm out there on the mound as the raindrops continue to fall. Tyler Anderson did quite a number for 7 innings on him after 2 spot in the first. An awful lot of outs on his fastball. Second amount of outs tonight from Tyler Anderson on his changeup. And only got 4 on his cutter and 1 on a slider, but 10 outs tonight via his fastball.
As Taylor bats with the bases empty and 2 gone and lifts a fly ball to left for Yanoa. That's a 1-2-3-8 for Jordan Lyles, sending us to the bottom half in a 12-2 game. That playing time figures to go up some. He's a middle infielder. With Story's injury, he'll play a more significant role. One and one. This will put the Rockies above 500 for the first time since May 18th when they were 20-19. It'll be their 11th win in their last 13 games. And it'll bring them within 2.5 of the second wild card. 2-2.
The too low-less Rockies.
Yeah. And now the storyless Rockies. Adames bounces one by Gonzalez into right. He's thinking 2 out of the box. Van Slyke does a nice job to cut it off and hold him to a single. Time now for the Quicken Loans Rocket Arms. We look at tomorrow's starting pitching matchup in this series finale. It'll likely be the Dodgers trying to avoid a sweep. Kenta Maeda pushed back a day. He's been so much better with an extra day of rest this season. Tyler Chatwood under the radar, one of the best starting pitchers in the National League this year. So after the leadoff single for Adames, here's David Dahl.
Dodgers hoping that Kenta Maeda, the extra day's rest, brings the effectiveness that we have seen statistically that when he gets normal rest compared to an extra day or two. The ERA and the effectiveness jumps up.
Two.
And they're also hoping that Urias can finish off this inning as well, and doing what he was called upon when he got called up today, is to give them some length, come into games out of the bullpen, gobble up some innings.
And he strikes out Dahl for out number 1. Brings up Mark Reynolds, so we take a look at our Carl's Camp replay back to the first inning. When Reynolds hit one of the 5 home runs for Colorado today, just over the center field wall. Peterson went up and had a shot at it, but just out of his reach. And Reynolds collects his 12th home run.
And for the folks back home just joining us and seeing that, he did get his glove back.
Yeah.
So.
More quickly than I thought it might be. It's interesting that we're sitting here talking about hoping Urias can eat up some innings, when you consider that the whole story around Urias this year is making sure those innings don't get too high. And you know, that's exactly what the Dodgers are thinking right here too. Kind of an awkward situation to be in, where the bullpen's so taxed, desperate to have somebody give you innings, just hampered by the fact that he's the guy in the role to do it right now.
They have played through an awful lot of injuries, and the ace Clayton Kershaw got moved to the 60-day DL today, but that was just really a paperwork move. He wasn't going to be back before that date anyway. Changes the configuration of the roster and how flexible it can be by putting him on the 60.
And then you get that tough news about Adam Liberatore and Lewis Coleman. Talking about the bullpens being taxed, but also doing very well this year, and those two guys have been a major factor in how well they've been doing.
Back-to-back Ks for Urias, 2 gone. The whole talk has been preserving those innings for the key spots in September, potentially in the postseason. But with those injuries you talked about, this is where the Dodgers are kind of forced to do at this point. Luis Avilan starting to warm. One to Descalso, and it's 0-2 as we've seen Urias start to settle in after his first major league relief appearance. Maybe something to that, having to get ready in a hurry as opposed to having the whole day a lead up as a starting pitcher. Trying to strike out 3 in a row after Arenado's leadoff single, or Adames with a pinch hit leadoff single. And it's 1-2. Still 4-4 in Philadelphia. Giants and Phillies.
First and second, 1 out for the Phillies, though. I think Bruce Bochy's about to make a pitching change. On my app, they just went to commercial.
Softly hit to second. Howie Kendrick gobbles it up. And Urias, after a rocky first couple of innings tonight, settled in here in his final inning of work.
Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. You can watch every out-of-market game live in HD and on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackouts and other restrictions do apply, but visit MLB.tv for details. The app that we've been talking about all game.
You are just getting better and better every time you do a read. What's your app telling you on that Giants game, Al?
First and second, 1 out. Jake Peavy just came in for the Giants in relief. The Phillies are threatening again, bottom of the 12th.
Christian Adames into the game at third, replacing Arenado. Gonzalez Germain comes in, and Scott Van Slyke swats it to LeMahieu. Jake Peavy moved to the bullpen with Matt Moore being acquired from Tampa Bay. And I believe this would be his, it'd have to be his first relief appearance.
And he just got a ground ball to third, but Nunez booted it, so now it's bases loaded, 1 out for the Phillies in the bottom of the 12th. Possible walk-off.
Wonder if Matt Duffy would have made the play.
Very much a routine topper. He should have had it.
Gonzalez 1 for 3 tonight. So sitting at 299 home runs. One and one. And the Phillies have beaten the Giants. They've gone final in Philadelphia. Jake Peavy comes in and allows a game-winning run. So the Phillies take the first 2 from San Francisco, and the Dodgers will not lose any ground in the division tonight. It was 4-0 San Francisco. Phillies scored 4 late and then win it in the 12th. And San Francisco now 4-13 since the break. 3-1. Ball 4. So it's a silver lining, but it's also a missed opportunity on back-to-back nights for the Dodgers.
Definitely missed opportunities, and don't look now, but the Rockies are going to be 1 game over 500, only 7 back of the Giants, and only 2.5 out of the wild card. I don't think anybody expected that as a storyline.
Yeah. Kike Hernandez 0 for 2. He's got a walk. And the Cardinals, by the way, won tonight, beating Cincinnati, and so the Cardinals are now in position to be the second wild card team, and that would keep Colorado 3.
Is Pittsburgh in there too?
Yeah, and that's the issue, is that Colorado's only 3 back of the second wild card, but there's a bunch of teams that are in that picture. Bounce to third, Adames to second, LeMahieu to first, bringing an end to this rough night for the Dodgers. 7-3 in the opener, 12-3 here in game 2 as the Rockies launch 5 home runs. There's your winning pitcher. Tyler Anderson was really good tonight. 7 full innings. That guy there, Reynolds, went deep. Yeah, the Dodgers have dropped back-to-back games for the first time since the opening series of the second half. Time now for the Lexus player of the game. It's Carlos Gonzalez, who hit 2 home runs himself. And you hope for the Rockies' sake that he's okay after stumbling coming out of the batter's box in his last at-bat. Looked like rolling that left ankle, hurting that left leg, was helped off of the field. And we will anxiously await reports on Gonzalez tonight and heading into tomorrow's series finale. That does it from Denver for now. For Oral and Nomar and Kelly Tennant, Joe Davis saying so long. We send it to Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by Nissan.